Welcome to the 8th episode of our video series on marketing research. In this episode, we'll focus on questionnaire design, discussing best practices for creating effective and reliable surveys for your marketing research project. Let's begin. A well-designed questionnaire is crucial for collecting accurate, reliable, and actionable data in marketing research. A poorly designed questionnaire can lead to biased results, low response rates, and misleading insights, making it essential to invest time and effort in creating an effective survey instrument. To design an effective questionnaire, consider the following best practices. Define clear research objectives. Ensure that your questionnaire aligns with your research objectives and addresses the specific research problem. Here's a real-life example illustrating the importance of defining clear research objectives when designing a questionnaire. Upgrading a local library's services. Now, the City Council of a medium-sized town wants to upgrade its local library services to better cater to the needs of its residents. Before investing in these changes, the council decides to conduct a survey to understand the residents' preferences and needs regarding the library. To identify which library service or facilities residents would most value as additions or improvements, first, without a clear research objective in mind, the library's initial questionnaire included questions such as, how often do you visit the library? Also, what genre of books do you prefer? Also, do you use library computers for internet access? And would you be interested in a cafe inside the library? While some of these questions might provide useful information, they don't necessarily align directly with the specific objective of understanding which services or facilities need additions or improvements. For example, knowing someone's favorite book genre doesn't directly help the library determine which new services to introduce. The revised questionnaire design, with a clear research objective in mind, included questions such as, which of the following services, if added, would make you more likely to visit the library? And the options included extended hours, online book reservation, more study room, children's reading programs, etc. Also, what improvements would you suggest for our computer and internet facilities? Also, if the library were to introduce workshops or classes, which topics would interest you most? Another question was, is there any current service or facility you think the library should improve upon? And please specify. By clearly defining the research objectives and aligning the questionnaires accordingly, the City Council received actionable feedback from residents. This feedback directly informed their decisions on which services to prioritize, ensuring that the library's upgrades were in line with the community's needs and desires. This example demonstrates the importance of ensuring that a questionnaire is designed to effectively address its research objectives. Without clear objectives, the resulting data may not provide the specific insights needed to inform decisions or actions. Keep it short and simple. Limit the length of your questionnaire to avoid respondent fatigue and use clear, concise language to ensure that respondents understand the questions. Here's a real-life example illustrating the importance of keeping a questionnaire short and simple. Let's look at feedback for a new coffee shop. A new coffee shop, Bean Bliss, has just opened in a bustling neighborhood. To ensure they're offering the best possible experience to their customers, the owners decide to give out feedback forms for the first 2 weeks. The initial feedback form is extensive. It included questions such as, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the ambience of our coffee shop? Also, what elements of the decor did you notice and appreciate? Another question was, list all the beverages you tried during your visit. And also provide detailed feedback for each beverage you consumed. And did you try any of our pastries? If so, which ones? And then give feedback for each pastry. Also, how does our coffee shop compare to others in terms of ambience, beverage quality, pastry quality, price, location, and staff behavior? And also they asked any additional questions, suggestions, or comments. Now, many customers started the questionnaire but left it unfinished, leading to incomplete data. The detailed questions, while well-intentioned, led to respondent fatigue, especially given the casual setting of simply enjoying a coffee. With the goal to keep it short and simple, the form was revised. And now the questions included, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with your overall experience at Bean Bliss? What beverages did you try today? Any favorite items from your order? How likely are you to return to our coffee shop? And here they give options, very likely, likely, or unlikely. And quick feedback, what's one thing we did well or could improve? The revised, more concise feedback form saw a higher completion rate. Customers were more willing to fill out the form as it was straightforward and took less time. The responses provided the coffee shop with clear insights, overall satisfaction, popular products, and key areas for improvement. By simplifying their questionnaire, Bean Bliss ensured that customers were not overwhelmed, leading to more accurate and actionable feedback. This demonstrates the value of keeping questionnaires short, simple, and to the point. Also use logical flow. Organize your questions in a logical order, starting with general questions and gradually moving to more specific or sensitive topics. Let's delve into an example showcasing the significance of maintaining a logical flow in questionnaires. In this scenario, we look at an employee feedback for company retreat planning. HR at Tech Titans Inc. wants to organize a company retreat. Before deciding on the details, they want to gather employee preferences and opinions. The initial survey looked something like this. Would you be comfortable sharing a room with a colleague during the retreat? And how many days do you think the retreat should last? Which of the following destinations would you prefer for the retreat? And here they gave options: beach, mountain, city, and countryside. Also they asked, are there any team building activities you would suggest? Do you have dietary restrictions we should be aware of? And how important is it for the retreat to have Wi-Fi connectivity? The questions seemed randomly placed, making the questionnaire feel disjointed. Starting with a potentially sensitive topic, room sharing, might put some employees on the defensive from the outset. Now, to make the flow more logical and progressive, they reordered it. And now it went like, which of the following destination would you prefer for the retreat? And here they give the options: beach, mountains, city, or countryside. Followed by, how many days do you think the retreat should last? Then asking, how important is it for the retreat to have Wi-Fi connectivity? Are there any team building activities you'd suggest? Do you have dietary restrictions we should be aware of? And would you be comfortable sharing a room with a colleague during the retreat? With the revised flow, respondents started with easy to answer and general questions like destination preference, before moving on to more specific or potentially sensitive topics like room sharing. Employees found the revised questionnaire more intuitive, and the HR team received a higher completion rate with more thoughtful answers. Organizing questions in a logical sequence helps in keeping respondents engaged, easing them into more specific or sensitive topics, and ensuring that the data collected is more reliable and comprehensive. Also, choose appropriate question types. Use a mix of close-ended, example multiple choice or Likert scales, and open-ended questions based on the type of information you want to collect. Here's a real-world scenario illustrating the importance of choosing appropriate question types in questionnaire design. So let's look at a feedback for a newly launched online shopping website. Now, Webshop Wonder, a new e-commerce platform, has recently been launched. After a month of operations, the company wants to understand user experiences to refine and enhance their service. So in their initial questionnaire design, Webshop Wonder first asked they actually use predominantly open-ended questions. So how did you feel about the website's layout? Describe your experience navigating through the product categories. What are your thoughts on the checkout process? And list any challenges you faced while shopping with us. Now, the issue with that is, while open-ended questions can provide in-depth feedback, they require more effort from respondents. Many users skipped the questions or provided vague one-word answers like good or okay, offering limited actionable insights. Now, in the revised questionnaire design, and to gather more structured and actionable feedback, a mix of close-ended and open-ended questions was used. So the questions were, how would you rate the website's layout? And here they gave options: excellent, good, average, poor. And did you find it easy to navigate through the product categories? And the options were very easy, somewhat easy, neutral, somewhat difficult, very difficult. Were you satisfied with the checkout process? And here the options were very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, unsatisfied, or very unsatisfied. And if you faced any challenges while shopping with us, please describe them. So with the revised design, Webshop Wonder could quickly gather quantitative data from the closed-ended questions and gain more specific insights from the open-ended question. This mix allowed for both a broad overview through percentages and averages, and deeper insights through specific comments. The feedback was richer and more actionable, helping the company make informed decisions on website improvements. Choosing the right balance between close-ended and open-ended questions ensures that a survey captures both general trends and specific feedback, providing a comprehensive view of respondents' experiences or opinions. Also, avoid leading and biased questions. Ensure that your questions are neutral and do not encourage respondents to answer in a certain way. Let's dive into a real-world scenario to illustrate the significance of avoiding leading and biased questions in questionnaire design. And here we look at the evaluation of a new school curriculum. A school district introduces a new curriculum for its middle school grades. After the first semester, they decide to gather feedback from parents about their perceptions of the new program. One of the questions in the original feedback form was, "How satisfied are you with our significantly improved and better structured new curriculum?" The phrasing "significantly improved and better structured" is leading. It implies that the new curriculum is undoubtedly an improvement over the old, potentially pressuring respondents into agreeing or answering positively. To get unbiased feedback, the question was reframed to be neutral. How satisfied are you with the new curriculum introduced this year? Additionally, to gather deeper insights, a follow-up open-ended question was added. Please provide any specific feedback or suggestions you have regarding the new curriculum. The neutral phrasing of the revised question allowed parents to express their genuine opinions without feeling influenced by the question's wording. As a result, the school district received more honest feedback, both positive and critical, enabling them to identify areas of improvement and validate aspects of the curriculum that were working well. Leading or biased questions can skew survey results and limit the accuracy and usefulness of collected data. Neutral and unbiased phrasing ensures that feedback reflects the genuine opinions and experiences of respondents. Pre-test your questionnaire. Test your questionnaire with a small sample of respondents to identify potential issues and make necessary adjustments before full-scale data collection. Let's delve into a real-life example that illustrates the importance of pre-testing a questionnaire. And here we look at a feedback on a new health app. Health Hub, a tech startup, develops a new app aimed at helping individuals track their daily calorie intake and exercise. Before its official launch, the team decides to gather feedback on user experience and app functionality. They create a questionnaire for beta testers. The draft questionnaire included questions like, how intuitive did you find the calorie sync feature? Were the body metrics analytics beneficial for your fitness tracking? Now, before rolling out the questionnaire to all beta testers, the Health Hub team decided to pre-test it with a small group of 15 users. Several respondents from the pre-test group mentioned they were unclear about certain terms used in the questionnaire. Some didn't remember the feature named Calorie Sync specifically, suggesting that the names of features should be described briefly in the question. A few respondents weren't sure what was meant by body metrics analytics. So, based on the pre-test feedback, the team revised the questions, and now they included first, how intuitive did you find the feature that synchronizes and updates your daily calorie intake, and between brackets, calorie sync. Were the analytics that provided detailed insights about your body measurement and progress, and here between brackets, body metrics, beneficial for your fitness tracking? So thanks to the pre-test, Health Hub was able to clarify its questionnaire, ensuring that the larger group of beta testers would understand the questions clearly. As a result, they received more accurate feedback, enabling them to make informed decisions about app refinements. Pre-testing a questionnaire can reveal unforeseen issues, ambiguities, or points of confusion, ensuring that the final survey provides clear, actionable insights from respondents. To recap on best practices for questionnaire design, we covered define clear research objectives, keep it short and simple, use a logical flow, choose appropriate question types, and avoid leading and biased questions, and pre-test your questionnaire. Now let's look at tips for writing effective questions. To write effective questions for your questionnaire, keep the following tips in mind. Use clear and concise wording. Avoid jargon, technical terms, and double negatives that may confuse respondents. Let's walk through a real-life example to look into the importance of using clear and concise wording when crafting questions. And here let's discuss a feedback on a new software update. TechSoft Inc., a software company, releases an update to their popular graphic design program. They want feedback from users to understand their experience with the new update and potentially catch any bugs or issues early on. One of the questions in the initial draft of their feedback survey was, did you find that the absence of non-native rasterization functionalities in the software update did not hinder your graphic rendering tasks? Wow. The question is packed with technical jargon like non-native rasterization functionalities. Moreover, the phrasing has a double negative, absence and did not hinder. Now, this structure could easily confuse respondents, leading to unclear or inaccurate answers. Now, to make the question clearer and more direct, the team rephrased it to, did the software update improve your graphic rendering tasks? Additionally, to gather deeper insights and understand if users missed any features, they added a follow-up open-ended question. Were there any features from the previous versions that you missed in this update? By using clear and concise wording, TechSoft Inc. ensured that users could quickly and accurately provide feedback on their experience. The clearer phrasing resulted in more actionable insights, helping the company identify both strength in their update and areas needing improvement. Using jargon or overly complex phrasing can lead to misunderstandings or inaccurate feedback. Keeping questions simple and straightforward is crucial for collecting meaningful data. Be specific. Provide a clear context for the question and specify the time frame or units of measurement if necessary. Here's a real-life scenario that underscores the importance of being specific in your questions. And here we look at evaluating a new restaurant. Culinary Haven, a new restaurant in town, wants to gather feedback on their customer experience to refine their service and offerings. They plan to use the feedback to improve and promote repeat visits. One of the questions in their initial draft was, did you enjoy our food? Now, while this question is straightforward, it's quite broad. A respondent might have loved the appetizer, felt neutral about the main course, and disliked the dessert. The question doesn't specify which part of the meal or which day of the visit, so feedback might not provide actionable insights. To get more specific feedback, the restaurant team reformulated the question. And now it goes like, first, thinking about your visit on this specific date, so that you mentioned specific date, how would you rate the following dishes you ordered? And then you list appetizers, and you put the name of the dish, main course, and you put the name of the dish, dessert, and you include the name of the dish. Additionally, to understand overall satisfaction, they included, overall, how satisfied were you with your dining experience on, again, specific date? By being more specific with their questions, Culinary Haven was able to gather detailed feedback about various parts of their menu. This specificity allowed them to pinpoint exactly which dishes were hits and which needed improvement, facilitating more targeted changes to their offerings. A question's specificity can be the difference between vague data and actionable insights. Providing a clear context, such as a specific time frame or unit of measurement, helps respondents give precise feedback. Avoid double-barreled questions. Ensure that each question addresses only one topic or concept to avoid confusion and misinterpretation. Let's explore a practical example that emphasizes the necessity of avoiding double-barreled questions. In this case, university course evaluation. So let's say the University of ABC wants feedback on its courses to refine the curriculum and improve student satisfaction. The evaluations will be used to guide professors in making adjustments for the next academic year. One of the questions in their initial draft was, how satisfied were you with the course content and the instructor's teaching methods? This question conflates two distinct topics: the course content and the instructor's teaching methods. A student might love the course content but might find the instructor's methods ineffective, or vice versa. The initial question wouldn't capture this nuance. To ensure clarity and specificity, the university split the question into two separate queries. One, how satisfied were you with the course content? And two, how satisfied were you with the instructor's teaching methods? By breaking down the double-barreled question into two distinct ones, the University of ABC received more accurate and detailed feedback. This change provided clear insights into both curriculum quality and teaching effectiveness, helping the institution make informed decisions about potential improvements. Double-barreled questions can muddy the waters of survey results. By ensuring each question addresses a singular topic, researchers can gather clearer and more actionable data. Provide mutually exclusive and exhaustive response options. For close-ended questions, ensure that response options do not overlap and cover all possible answers. Here's a real-life example illustrating the importance of providing mutually exclusive and exhaustive response options. Let's look at the retail store customer feedback survey. Style Hub, a popular retail clothing store, wants to gather feedback on the shopping frequency of its customers. They aim to tailor their marketing campaign based on how often their customers shop. One of the questions in their initial draft was, how often do you visit Style Hub in a month? 1 to 5 times, 5 to 10 times, 10 to 15 times. The response options present overlap for someone who visits exactly 5 or 10 times a month. It's unclear which option they should choose. Additionally, there's no option for someone who visits more than 15 times or not at all. To eliminate ambiguity and ensure comprehensiveness, the question was restructured. How often do you visit Style Hub in a month? First option, never, then 1 to 4 times, 5 to 9 times, 10 to 14 times, and 15 or more times. By adjusting the response options to be mutually exclusive and exhaustive, Style Hub was able to get accurate data on customer shopping frequencies. This allowed them to better segment their customer base and tailor marketing campaigns accordingly. Offering clear and comprehensive answer choices is vital in preventing respondent confusion and ensuring accurate, actionable survey data. Use appropriate scales. When using Likert scales or other rating scales, ensure that they are consistent and provide a balanced range of options. Let's delve into a practical example for this tip. Let's look at hotel guest feedback form. Ocean View Resort, a luxurious beachfront hotel, wants to gauge guest satisfaction regarding their recent stay. They hope to understand which areas of service require improvements. One of the questions in their initial draft asked about the quality of room service. How would you rate the room service? Very unsatisfied, unsatisfied, or satisfied? The scale is skewed towards negative feedback. Guests who had an average experience or those who were highly impressed with the service have no accurate way to express their feelings. The scale also lacks consistency, as it provides more options to express dissatisfaction than satisfaction. So to offer a balanced range of options, the hotel restructured the question. So now, how would you rate the room service? The options are very unsatisfied, unsatisfied, neutral, satisfied, and very satisfied. By employing a balanced Likert scale, Ocean View Resort received a more nuanced understanding of guest experiences. This more precise feedback helped them recognize areas of excellence and pinpoint specific facets needing enhancements. Using appropriate and balanced scales in surveys ensures that respondents can accurately reflect their feelings and experiences, leading to richer, more actionable insights for the surveyor. To recap on tips for writing effective questions, we covered: use clear and concise wording, be specific, avoid double-barreled questions, provide mutually exclusive and exhaustive response options, and use appropriate scales. Now, let's look at incorporating demographic questions. Demographic questions can provide valuable insights into the characteristics of your respondents, helping you identify trends and patterns within specific subgroups. Place demographic questions at the end. Positioning demographic questions at the end of the questionnaire can minimize potential biases and ensure that respondents are more focused on the main research questions. Here's an example illustrating this guideline. Health and fitness survey for gym members. FitLife Gym wants to understand the exercise habits, preferences, and feedback of its members. They plan to use this information to tailor their gym facilities, classes, and marketing strategies. The questionnaire began with demographic questions such as age, gender, occupation, and followed by questions on exercise habits, preferred workout times, favorite classes, etc. Now, starting with personal demographic questions might make some respondents uncomfortable or wary, wondering why such information is needed before they understand the context of the survey. Moreover, answering these questions first might bias their responses to subsequent questions. For example, an older respondent might downplay their frequency of exercise after being reminded of their age. So the questionnaire was revised and the questions were reordered to start with questions about the gym experience. So first question was, how often do you visit the gym in a week? Then, which classes do you frequently attend? And then, what improvements would you like to see? Followed by demographic questions at the end. By moving demographic questions to the end, FitLife Gym noticed an increase in survey completion rates. Members were more engaged with the survey when it began with relatable, direct questions about their gym experience. Additionally, the feedback received was more candid and seemed less influenced by demographic factors, ensuring genuine and actionable insights for the gym's management. Placing demographic questions at the end of a survey can create a smoother experience for respondents and yield more genuine, unbiased responses to the primary research questions. Also, use sensitive wording. Be cautious when asking sensitive demographic questions, such as income or ethnicity, and consider providing an option for respondents to decline to answer. Let's explore a real-world scenario to highlight the importance of sensitive wording in demographic questions. And here we look at the alumni survey for a university. A renowned university, prestige university, is keen on understanding the career trajectories and general well-being of its alumni. The results are to be used to improve student services and potentially guide campus initiatives. One of the sections in their draft survey was focused on demographics and included questions such as, what is your annual income? So below $20,000, $20,000 to $40,000, $40,000 to $60,000, and above $60,000. Also, it included a question like, what race are you? Caucasian, African American, Asian, Hispanic, other. Now, the wording of these questions can be seen as intrusive or insensitive. Asking directly about income might make alumni uncomfortable, and the categorical nature of the race question can make some individuals feel excluded or pigeonholed. With sensitivity in mind, the questions were rephrased and expanded. So the first question is, which income bracket best describes your annual earnings? And then in brackets, they mentioned you can choose not to answer this question. And the options were, prefer not to say, below $20,000, $20,000 to $40,000, $40,000 to $60,000, and above $60,000. And then the second question was, how would you describe your ethnic background? And again, between brackets, they mentioned you can choose not to answer this question. And the options were, prefer not to say, Caucasian or white, Black or African American, Asian, Hispanic or Latino, and then other, and please specify. By employing more sensitive wording and offering an opt-out choice, Prestige University observed that alumni were more willing to complete the survey. The responses provided a clear picture of their alumni community without sacrificing the comfort or privacy of the respondents. It's crucial to approach demographic questions with empathy and respect, understanding that they can touch upon personal and sometimes sensitive areas of a respondent's identity. Proper wording can make the difference between gathering valuable, inclusive data and alienating potential respondents. Only ask relevant demographic questions. Only include demographic questions that are relevant to your research objectives and analysis to avoid unnecessary respondent burden. Here's a real-world example to underscore the importance of relevance in demographic questions. An online learning platform feedback survey. So EdTech Masters, an online learning platform, wishes to understand how users perceive their courses, platform navigation, video quality, and interaction capabilities. Their goal is to enhance the platform's user experience and tailor content accordingly. The draft survey contained a demographic section that asked, what is your highest level of education? How often do you use our platform? What type of courses do you mostly sign up for? Technology and coding, business and finance, arts and humanities, or science? And what is your favorite hobby? Also, how do you rate the user friendliness of our platform? Now, most of the questions are pertinent, relating to the education and platform use. However, asking about favorite hobbies seems out of context. It doesn't provide any direct insights about the platform's usability, content preference, or user experience. So to remain focused on the main objective, the unrelated demographic question was omitted. So now the survey included questions are, what is your highest level of education? So high school or lower, bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate or higher. How often do you use our platform? What type of courses do you mostly sign up for? Technology and coding, business and finance, arts and humanities, or science? How do you rate the user friendliness of our platform? By eliminating the question about hobbies, EdTech Masters created a more streamlined and purposeful survey. They ensured that respondents would not be sidetracked by unrelated questions and could maintain focus on the platform and its content. This change also conveyed to the respondents that their time was valued and only pertinent information was being gathered. It's essential for researchers to critically evaluate each question in a survey, ensuring each directly contributes to the research objectives. Let's recap on the best practices for incorporating demographic questions. And here we covered: place demographic questions at the end, use sensitive wording, and only ask relevant demographic questions. That concludes our discussion on questionnaire design. By following these best practices and tips, you can create effective and reliable surveys that provide valuable insights for your marketing research project. In the next episode, we'll delve into data analysis techniques and tools used in marketing research. Stay tuned, and thanks for joining us today.